What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with another episode of Live from the Lair. Now, today's subject is probably going to piss a lot of people off and get me and my crew labeled as istophobe igots, but we're just telling you the truth. All right, now, we've all paid attention to the news, and we've had, in New York City, they're putting kids out of schools so they can move illegal immigrants in. They're not taking care of veterans so they can use that money for illegal immigrants. They're actually taking medical care away from veterans and giving it to illegal immigration. Now, I've heard this over and over again that our immigration system is being weaponized against us, the citizens of this country, and it's absolutely true. In fact, this trope of using immigration as a weapon has been kicked around since the late 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, just as the Bolsheviks were taking power in Russia for the first time. We all saw how that turned out. Now, we've been hearing on the media about how the white race is going away and it needs to be replaced to keep everything humming along. Well, that is a propaganda lie, and we're going to get into it tonight. Now, Blake is not here. It's Tuesday. We got the Battle Dwarf in the house, and we have Jimmy Bones pulling top cover and, doing what he does in the background.
Pushing the buttons like a good monkey.
No problem. But am I the only one who's noticed this? Let me know in the chat if you guys have been paying attention to this whole immigration nut roll. Because if you haven't, here's a spoiler. It's about to kick off into a kinetic two-way rifle range. That's what's happening now. This whole immigration thing has been pushed by the Democrats to such a harsh level that they have literally disregarded the other half of this country who doesn't want this to take place. In fact, I would say 80% of the people in this country do not want this type of immigration. But the small 20% that has the lead, basically the steering wheel right now, is driving this country off of a cliff. And we're going to get into it. Winning.
Well, it's winning. It's really only about 2% of the population that's doing this. It's our elites, don't you know? They're very much in charge, and they know what's good for us. So I decided to go with a different page off the bat here. I was going to start with something else, but we're going to go right into stage-managed invasions, as Pop mentioned, immigration being weaponized, and I will run to the top of this page real fast for you.
Also, on a side note,
yeah,
this just isn't happening here in the States. It's happening in Europe as well.
It's happening in Asia now too. Korea is being overrun.
Ah, okay.
Which is bizarre. How immigration became a weapon in a hybrid war. It's really simple. The powers that be have enough money, enough resources, and control of all of the shipping lanes and all of the supply channels. They can move these illegal immigrants around without any problem at all. One of the ironies is the Middle Passage is now open, and we talked about that when we discussed the border 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Middle Passage, of course, was how they got the slaves to and fro. Now, in recent years, the English Channel has become one of the deadliest routes. You can see here the sheer amount of mass immigration that's going on. These channels are consistent enough and have enough traffic going through them that this is not immigration. Immigration is a small group.
Yep.
Moves a couple of 100 miles, maybe, and sets up shop.
Well, back in the day, before we had all of this craziness, it was somewhat of a process to become a United States citizen.
There was quite a process to it. Yeah, there was absolutely quite a process to it. Until the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, you had to be from a basically white Western nation to be able to immigrate to the United States without some sort of compelling reason that we should let you in. And there were.
And you had to bring value here, right?
You had to bring value here. We had a Chinese family in my neighborhood when I was a kid. So I went to school with their son, Andy. The parents were both mathematicians. And they were apparently good enough that they got allowed into the country.
Good.
But, you want people like that.
But here's the thing. What we have now is we have these immigrants coming across. They're a net negative. They're literally coming here penniless, and they want all of the free shit that the Democrats have voted into, let's say, law or into policy. And we'll get into those numbers in a little while.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. One of the biggest ones that most people know about, other than what's happening today, is what's called the Mariel boat lift. When I think it was Carter or Reagan said, if any Cubans set foot on American soil, they can stay. And
What a nut roll that was.
well, Fidel Castro, what he did is opened up all of his prisons and everything and said, everybody to the boats.
Yep.
And we got all of Cuba's criminals, all of Cuba's crazies, and they're still here to this day. I think we deported like 5 or 6 of them.
Yep.
But the invasion that's coming across today has a far more insidious purpose. I started looking at the math. Pops got me hooked in the idea of doing math stuff, and I hate him for it because I hate math.
That's why I'm here.
Right, that's why you're here, but you got me doing math things. And it made me mad. This starts with what's called the UN population, UN migration replacement migration population plan, and we will share this.
And what year was this cooked up? That was from the 2000s?
Now, you rescued my sorry ass basically around 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to be homeless with my 8-year-old daughter. And that's when I first started noticing the UN population replacement program. And it was on the web, and it had a date on there of being posted up there as early as 1997. And then 2 years later, the invasions into Europe started, where they started those huge columns walking through Germany. Remember that on the news?
Correct.
And everybody was saying, that can't happen in America. That can't happen in... Well, I read the United Nations Population Replacement Program, and you have to find it on Archive. We put a link up there. You should have the link. But they laid it all out. And exactly what they said was going to happen happened in Europe.
And it's happening here.
Now it's happening in the United States.
But here's another thing. When you go to the northern Slavic states, like Sweden and what have you, the old Viking-producing countries, been overridden by Somalis and what have you. They're having all kinds of crime problems.
Sweden is now the rape capital of the world.
Yeah, that never happened there before.
It didn't happen. There's like 2 or 3 rapes a year in Sweden at that time.
Yeah.
Back before all of that happened. What we're getting in the United States now is a combination of Somalis, Senegalese, Congolese, all of these countries that there's no way you're walking across the Pacific Ocean, which means somebody's bringing them here.
That's right.
And the United Nations has been at this for some time, and we fund it.
Yeah.
The United States funds the United Nations to the tune of, I think, 82% of the bill.
Yeah, I was just going to say 80% of their operating costs used to be covered by us.
We also fund the WHO and the WEF.
Yeah, which has been weaponized against us.
Yeah. The numbers of immigrants needed to prevent declines in the working age population are larger than those needed to prevent declines in total population. In some cases, such as the Republic of Korea, which is being inundated, France, which has been inundated, and the United Kingdom, London has 33% English right now.
Correct. It's
gone.
It's gone.
It's Constantinople, or should I say Istanbul?
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Or the United States, they are several times larger. If such flows were to occur, post-1995 immigrants and their descendants would represent a strikingly large share of the total population in 2050, between 30 and 39% in the case of Japan, Germany, and Italy. This has already happened in those countries.
Well, Japan is
not Japan. Japan staved it off.
Yeah, Japan said no.
Yeah, so far Japan has managed to hold off, but they're rotting the country from the inside. And these are UN programs. These are WEF programs. All that manga that everybody loves, all that weirdo porn that the Japanese do, that's where it's coming from. Yeah. They're trying to rot their Japanese cultural norms from within using this. And all it did was make the Japanese weirder, though.
Yeah, listen, let's be honest. We can do a whole show on how weird and crazy Japanese people are with all of their,
and it's like the old
fetishes.
It's like the old Gremlins movie too. If you drop a Japanese in water after giving him food after midnight, he turns into a gremlin.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yep. And they multiply. And it's terrible.
It's bad.
So what's going on? The UN is claiming that if a population begins to decline, its economy will also decline, and they can't have that. Well, why? Because the UN is funded on our tax dollars. That's why. This is how they sustain themselves. This is the parasite telling you that it's killing you.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's more insidious than that.
Okay.
I literally think we have individuals who are behind the I don't know, the Georgia Guidestones philosophy
Sure, that's
that
yeah.
literally want to see 7 out of 10 people dead.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what will result from this in the
Yes.
long run. That is what will result from this in the long run. These orc armies that are coming in are mostly war age males,
hmm
and many of them are from hyper-violent countries with no concept of a social conscience, or for that matter, a conscience at all that we're used to. Pop and I and a lot of the guys, well, all the guys we served with have been to places where life is cheap.
Yeah, listen,
It doesn't mean anything.
I have looked into the eyes of some of the most vicious, evil people you can imagine, and world champions alike. And I laughed in all of their faces at their meager attempts to teach me lessons which death could not. But they're out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just couldn't believe some of the raw fucking evil I had to deal with while I was in Iraq.
I had the same thing when we were interviewing North Korean defectors. Some
Yeah.
of the prison guards and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh yeah, if a girl got pregnant, we would just kick her down and shove a shovel handle up her, and kick it up there to abort the baby." And they're talking about it like they're ordering a sandwich
It's no big
at
deal.
Potbelly.
Yeah.
They don't have the social conscience or the concept of a conscience or morals that we have. That's what's flooding into the country right now.
You cannot move third world people into a first world country and expect it to stay a first world country.
Exactly.
There's going to be some regression. It's going to get bloody.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you just add that on top of the fact that they're crashing our economy. They're going to basically get rid of your ability to cook food and heat your house if the Greenpeace idiots get their way, the damn tree huggers.
Correct.
So I mean, we're literally getting attacked in virtually every single way you possibly can, minus the two-way kinetic rifle range, because we're at war spiritually, we're at war economically, we're at war psychologically. There's war going on in the digital realm.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we are fighting on every single front right now, except for the one where you bleed. That's it.
But that's coming.
We all know it's
and
coming.
There already have been incidents. They're just not making the news. I guarantee you, with as many of those illegals that are here, there have already been incidents.
Yeah. And if anyone has any news in regards to incidents that are taking place that aren't in the mainstream media, email them to us, redonkulas12@gmail.com, and we'll cover them. We will cover them.
I'll vet them out. I have access to police reports at that level.
Okay.
At a basic level, I can get to those without too much trouble. So let's get to the istophobic part, and here's where everybody's going, racist. Look, reality is what reality is, okay?
All right.
The United States of America, when it formed as a country, was formed by European white Christians who came here and conquered and colonized this land. Yes, there were indigenous people here beforehand. Here is also reality, and even the indigenous will tell you that this is also true. They were basically a sun-setting Stone Age culture. The only reason they got metal and horses and the idea of money, they didn't have an idea of money. They traded, which is fine. There's a lot of cultures that do that.
Yeah.
Is from the Spanish, and then the English coming, and then the French coming, and giving them these ideas and these tools and items.
Greed. We gave them greed.
We did. No, they had greed already.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the big myths. They had greed already. They had slavery like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the tribes were extremely violent. The Comanche would skin you alive and stake you out over an anthill for fun.
Yeah.
The Huron would strap you to a cross, like an X.
And burn you.
And either burn you or skin you alive in 1-inch strips to make it last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Huron were a lot of fun, and they were up around the Ontario and New York areas.
Yeah. Listen, all of this kumbaya where everyone was at peace until the Europeans came. Let's just be honest.
Bunch of hogwash.
All right. Before Europe came to the Americas, there were nations in Mexico and South America who executed people en masse so they could give the blood to their gods.
Cortez writes about it,
yeah,
extensively.
And that is, and listen, I mean, there's like a comedy routine I'm thinking of doing where you have Cortez. He's, oh yeah, look at this. Oh, they're so advanced. Look at this construction.
Oh
And
my
they-
God!
And they look up and they see some bodies flopping down the stairs. Like, yeah, these guys gotta die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's
And
that's what's going through their
It
head.
wasn't just a couple.
No,
It wasn't just a couple. It was hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Spaniards had to look at these. This is way too much. This has got to stop.
they're like, oh my God.
It's way over the top.
But here's the thing. Like I've said this forever. We are evil hairless monkeys.
Yep.
Some of us are just more melanin challenged than the other. We take advantage of each other. We kill each other. We look for any type of opportunity to get one up on our neighbor. That is just how we are.
That's absolutely correct. There are groups of us that when we do band together, we'll go, hey, let's do it together. It'll be a good time. Let's do it together. And you get Vikings.
Yes.
You get Charlemagne. You get Napoleon.
The Mongols.
Julius Caesar. The Mongols.
Yeah. The Huns.
The
Yeah.
Huns. The Mongols were awesome.
Oh my God.
I'd love to do a whole show just on the Mongols.
They
just
were
because of how
savage.
crazy. Anyway, let's get to the istophobia.
Yeah.
The claim in the UN and WEF is that the white population of the United States of America, and we're focusing on America because that's where we are right now, okay?
Yeah.
This is happening in other countries as well. Maybe we could do that later, but right now we're focusing on America. The population in 1950 of whites was 134,942,000, or roughly 135 million whites. The claim is that they were dying off. So let's take a look and see what happens. Here's 1850 to 1940, and come down here. I know this is a little tedious, but bear with me.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
We're going to get called istophobe bigots because we connect two lines on a graph somewhere or flow chart that has numbers, because numbers are white supreme pizza.
Now remember, these pages you're looking at here were typed up and filed as records before they were ever digital records, so nobody's had a chance to alter this stuff.
Yes, yet.
So the white population of the United States increased by 17.5% between 1950 and 1960, as compared with 26.7% for the non-white population. So the white persons constituted 88.6 or 89% of the total population in 1960.
And those are baby boomers.
That is the baby boom.
Nope, that's the baby boom.
That is correct. Does this one have a table? Yes, it does. These are the 1960s numbers. Now you can see it was 134,000. Now it's basically 159,000 whites. The population
159 million.
159 million. Thank you.
Sorry.
Maybe it needs to be. Maybe I'm just wishing. I just want to get it over with. Let's do this thing. So as we go through time, we'll share this tab instead. Here we are in 1997.
You got to blow that up.
Zoom in here, blow it up for the old dudes. And you can see from 1990 to 1997, we're not like freaking out and overbreeding, but overbreeding causes population weakness. You see this visually if you live anywhere in the Midwest with the deer population. If there's overbreeding, there's dead deer all over the side of the road. Human beings are pretty much the same.
Well, we are animals.
We are animals.
Yeah.
We're warm-blooded mammals. And if we get too many people in an area, we'll slow down our population growth, which is what has happened here. You can see 1990, 249 million, basically. I won't just read them all off like that. That's crazy. But by 1997, you're looking at 268 million. The population's fine.
Yeah.
There's no decline at all. Okay. And if the numbers had held, we would still be 89% of the population. But in 1965, something happened.
They passed those laws.
The 1965 Hart-Celler Immigration Act that allowed anybody to get into the country, and that was the opening of the floodgates.
So there's stuff in this country like an old straw mattress.
Yes. There
They
is
are.
nothing wrong with our population. We have exactly the population that we need for the United States of America. What's happening is we're being overrun. We went from 89% in 1965.
What about their argument
Right.
for the economy?
Let's talk about that.
Yes, let's get
talk
into
about
the
that.
numbers and
Let's get
stuff.
into the numbers. So, when was the United States economy at its strongest in modern memory? Mr. Pop.
All right.
back of the
Well,
bus.
because we're a bunch of hairless monkeys, we're only at our best when we're at each other's throats. So I would say shortly after World War II.
That would be correct, Mr. Pop.
I'll take a drink.
Jesus Christ, that was terrible. Anyway, so here's the thing. Population is not tied to economics. That's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Japan is one of the smallest populations of a civilized functioning countries on the planet, and they are an economic powerhouse. It's a matter of will, industry, resources, and good organization.
The key word is functioning.
Functioning.
If you're not,
You're correct.
if you're a country that doesn't function, it's a failed state and it's a fuck all fest.
Yeah, there was one that used to be called Rhodesia that's now called Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Where in Zimbabwe, the leaders are now calling for all of the white farmers that they drove off to please come back.
To feed everyone.
We stole all of your farms, but we forgot one important part.
We do not know how
Farm.
to farm.
Know how to farm. It's a problem.
Yeah, I know. They divvied up the land, gave it to individual people who are like, I don't know what to do here.
Same thing is happening. Exact
Correct.
same thing is happening in South Africa right now.
Yep.
And it is about to start happening in the United States. These foreign entities that are buying up U.S. farmland, do you think that's to give it back to white U.S. farmers? That's
Or even to return it to U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
More than likely, they're going to try to hold on to that shit forever. And we as the collective, i.e. the voting people of this country, need to get together and pass laws to stop that shit from happening and basically take back that land. We should not allow all of these foreign corporations and people to own our sovereign soil.
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm an Americanist. I love America.
Yep.
Right. I will do whatever it takes to make sure this country stays, at the top of the pecking order and everything is good to go. Because all of those oaths I took, none of them expired, and you're the same way. That's why you're here.
That's pretty much exactly correct. Again, population numbers are not tied to economy. As a matter of fact, the population they're flooding us with right now has no function in an economy. They don't have any skills, these people that are coming in.
Correct.
Except maybe clubbing you to death with a rock and taking your stuff.
Oh, yes.
That's about the height of their skills. They might be able to push shopping carts.
Brown shirt activities?
Brown shirt activities.
Yeah, they're good for brown shirt activities.
Yeah. Or what was the name of the early ones that the Bolsheviks had?
Useful idiots.
There was
cannon fodder.
The
extra.
I forget.
Extra anus for the pumping.
There you go. Stalin had his own secret police, but the important point is this. There was a Russian author who escaped the Bolshevik Revolution, and he wrote, "It would have been different if instead of cowering behind our doors in beds waiting for Stalin's men to come take us, we had been down in the foyer of our houses,
waiting.
6 to 10 of us waiting with clubs and sticks and knives."
Yeah.
They would have stopped very quickly as they lost agent after agent after agent.
There's a reason why they want to take away our guns.
There's a reason they want to take away our guns.
Because, if a government wants to do things that are going to wind up, being a shooty situation, well, they are the ones that want to have the guns and the other side doesn't. Every single time they take away the guns from a population, it's always followed by a genocide.
Every single time.
Every time.
Every single time. So, population is not tied to immigration. Population is not tied to economics. So what's with the immigration surge? Are we looking at, I don't know where we are on the StreamYard here. We do have the map up. Okay.
Yeah.
This map of the United States, you can see all of the areas that are dark in color. That is population density. Now, all of these immigrants that are flooding into the nations, and there's like 30 million of these people, okay?
Yeah.
You need to understand there's 40 large cities, 40 large American cities worth of illegal immigrants that have come into this country. And they're all heading for these dark areas. And you've got a government right now that's pushing for They say it over and over again, democracy, democracy, democracy. They want to get rid of the Electoral College, which means that Montana votes count the same as California votes. They don't like that.
Well, no. Here's the thing with the Electoral College. If you get rid of the Electoral College, this country will be run by the East and the West Coast. All of the states in between will be told to go fuck off, and it'll be utter chaos.
That's why I'm pointing at the map.
I know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just wording it differently.
That's fine. That's why I brought this map up specifically, is because this is where, and if you look, you can see this is where the vast majority of these immigrants are going to these areas. What it's going to do is create a crushing amount of votes. And if they can get those illegal immigrants to vote in each of these states to say that, yes, we want to get rid of the Electoral College, now you've got a democracy, and the East Coast and the West Coast, LA, Seattle, Atlanta, Chicago, and New York control your elections.
Yeah.
You will never have a say in anything ever.
Yeah, that's not going to end well. I'm just telling you right now.
That's what's happening.
Yes, I know. And listen, if I have my way, in every single state, each county will have their own electoral vote for a governor.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, meaning that these Democrats who get away with their, prestidigitation of their stanky fucking downstairs swamp ass, fool these big cities, and they control the state. Well, guess what? If you put the Electoral College per county, per state, they have to fool a majority of the counties to get what they want. That means they'll have to come up with actual programs and actual stuff that works, things that are, physically possible and economically feasible, instead of the bullshit the Democrats are selling you now is vote for us, we'll give you free shit. They've never given you free shit. They've never improved anything in these blue hellholes.
That is correct. I'm seeing more and more chatter in the black community as well of some blacks coming to their senses and saying, we've been had.
Yeah.
They've promised us all this stuff all of this time. There's another factor that I'm going to bring up that's going to get the istophobic reaction, but I don't care because I have multiple examples.
Okay.
The whole notion of dual loyalty and dual passports. That has to go.
Yeah.
That has to go. The most obvious one, of course, is you got a lot of senators who also have Israeli passports.
That needs to stop.
You have a dual loyalty. I don't care what you say. You have a dual loyalty, period. But then you've got, was it Ilhan Omar, the Somali?
I don't know her.
There's a Somali in Minnesota. That's Ilhan Omar. The one who's married to her brother. Gets on a microphone in front of a caucus the other day of Somalis in Minnesota and says, we Somalis now tell Minnesota what to do. Somalis run this state now. This is a Somali state now. And she's on the microphone saying this stuff. There's her on a microphone saying this. This isn't me making stuff up, pulling it out of my backside.
Yep.
You've got people like Rashida Tlaib, who is known for rallying for the Palestinians and doing everything she can to make Congress do stuff for Palestine. There's a couple of others in there. I can't remember all of their names off the top of my head. But this circus, this zoo, where we allow these people in from other countries to take our offices is madness. It's late stage, and I'm talking like the year 461 AD
of the Roman Empire.
Roman Empire.
Oh yeah. Listen, I've been. I was never a fan of history while I was in high school.
History is my thing.
Yeah, until I discovered the History Channel.
Right.
And we're seeing the same patterns repeated over and over again. Yes. Like literally, we're repeating the 1900s again, except now we have nuclear warheads.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's more of us.
And the internet. And there's more of us. This sort of stuff repeats every single time.
Yes.
Every single time. It's just insane. But anyway, that's where all of the immigrants are going. This has nothing to do with economics. Economics is the lie they're selling. And the way they're doing that is crashing the economy. So they can look at you and say, look at the price of eggs. You need Congolese farmers to raise chickens so your eggs can be cheap again.
Mm-hmm.
You need some dairy farmers from Senegal to take care of your cows so you can have cheap milk again.
And never mind the fact that we're having a bunch of food plants and processing plants just burn up.
And they're deliberately sandbagging the petroleum industry.
Correct.
And California now no longer allows diesel trucks.
Okay, good luck with that. Oh my God.
That's making things great. One of my favorites was actually in another country, Wales. One of the prime ministers of Wales issued a dictum that the speed limit in Wales is now 20 miles per hour.
All right.
The Welsh basically just went, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Nice.
We're not doing. While I was over there, I learned something about the Welsh, by the way. All those jokes about the Scotsman and the sheep, don't make a sheep joke in a Welsh bar. It's not the Scots. It's the Welsh.
It's the Welsh. All right.
That's a yo mama joke in the South.
So we're about 30 minutes into the stream. We need to get some more thumbs up and likes on YouTube and Rumble sides. Come on, gentlemen. Get those likes up, goddammit.
Throw some likes in there, or we're going to mail you some Congolese immigrants. Or if you have them already, maybe we'll send a truck to take them to California.
I was gonna say, better get those likes up before my finger's getting a little itchy here. I'm hovering over one of the 3 Hillary videos there.
Oh no,
No,
not yet, please. No,
no, that's
No.
brutality.
But I mean,
God, imagine if somebody did something like
Bent the whole world over. Thank you very much.
Give it to me, daddy. That's what she keeps screaming. Give it to me, daddy.
what the fuck?
Oh my, oh my.
Turn it off. Wait.
stop.
You're screwing up.
She got away.
That's Billy Von Baum, man. That guy's a savage.
God.
See what happens when you don't hit the like button? It's as simple as hitting the like button. Otherwise, Nancy gets away and everything is just
It goes to shit.
right in the bag. Right in the
It
bag.
goes to. Here's another thing about the immigration that I noticed when I was a child. Now, I went to kindergarten through basically 7th grade in Oak Park, Michigan.
Yeah.
And back then, we were getting just this huge influx of Chaldeans, and they're coming from Iraq. And they're basically, that's when Saddam Hussein came to power, and he drove out the Christians for the most part. And a lot of them came here. And that was a huge influx. And on top of that, we have individuals leaving Detroit, moving to Oak Park. And it was nothing but a 3-way fight for a couple years there between the blacks, the whites, and the Chaldeans.
That carried on.
Yeah. Oh, no,
quite
I
a
know.
while.
But I mean, there were
Quite a while.
times when, my guys had to fight the Chaldeans, and I had to talk to some buddies of mine who were in the black community. And I'm like, hey, can you loan me some dudes for a fight? And they're like, how many you need? I'm like, 6 or 8. Yeah, sure. Where is it at? I was cool with them. But I mean, the thing is that's what happens when a bunch of cultures come together. Now, back then, it was just fist fighting.
Yeah.
Now, machetes, school shootings, explosives. It's going to get way worse.
Yeah, here's a little cultural tidbit from Detroit for you from the 70s and the actually from like the 50s to the late 80s. Fighting was a sport.
Yes.
Okay. It's something we did after school in the parking lot Friday nights. We'd show up at other schools in the parking lots, beat up the guys, and take their girls to the clubs that night. That just might have happened at Brother Rice once or twice. Because
or Don Darrell.
Or Don Darrow.
Yeah.
But Brother Rice had Marion next door with the Catholic girls and the little Catholic girl school suits.
Yeah, I got you.
Fights were normal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about race. It was more about territory and blocks and stuff, which is why he was able to go to the black kids and say, hey, send me some guys.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
Well, I was cool with them because, one, I never lied to them. I never stole anything from them.
Right.
I didn't take any shit from them, and they respected that.
Yeah.
And it was always fair.
Yeah. Detroit was a different place at the time.
Yeah.
It was a very, very, very different place. But the immigrants that are coming in now, the goal is to overwhelm us. That's why we went from 89% of the population to 55% of the population and falling.
Correct.
We're not losing numbers.
They're just stuffing the mattress.
They're stuffing the mattress with dirty 8 Mile hookers.
That's bad.
It's actually true, though.
Yeah.
A lot of the females are ending up as prostitutes. New York has a real problem with
Yep.
Venezuelan prostitutes in Times Square right now.
Yep.
That are basically just crawling on customers with naked bodies.
I mean, if they have no marketable skills,
Right.
you bring them in here, you're setting them up for failure from the beginning, and you're making us pay for their failure.
Yes. Yep. And they need the money and they need food and shelter. Okay, I get it. But they're going right for the meat trade. That's what all of the immigrants coming in are doing.
And plus, a lot of the, like in the southern border, I mean, the human trafficking is out of control.
It's completely out of control. It's all the way up here, though. We've got tons of human trafficking.
No, I know, because it flows all the way.
Yeah.
God damn it. Flows all the way up. I
Pop
dropped
dropped
my
something.
pen.
Bob dropped his pen. Pen down.
Pen down.
Medic!
Sorry, I got to keep notes.
I understand. So that map shows you where all of these immigrants are going to. Now you know why the immigrants are coming into the country. It has nothing to do with economics. Don't let anybody tell you that. Don't listen to that garbage and show them otherwise. The white population is the same as it's always been. We're just being stuffed.
That is not a good thing.
And
And listen, they know, the powers that be know that when these numbers get really out of fucking cattywampus, people are going to pack up and stack up, go tribal, and it's going to get ugly.
here's where it gets ugly. This article is called Europe Suicide by Jihad, and it's about the heavy Muslim immigration into Europe. And this is from 2016.
Yeah. This is almost 10 years
from
ago.
Almost 10 years ago now. In the last 2 decades, Belgium has become the hub of jihad in Europe. The district of Molenbeek, once a nice neighborhood in Brussels, Molenbeek was, there's like books about Molenbeek, is now a foreign Islamist territory in the heart of Belgium. It is not, however, a lawless zone. Sharia law has effectively replaced Belgian law. One of the organizers of the Paris bombings, Salah Abdeslam, was able to live peacefully in Molenbeek for 4 months until police decided to arrest him. Belgian police knew exactly where he was. He did nothing until French authorities asked him to. After his arrest, he was treated as a petty criminal, like he stole gum from the liquor store.
Yeah.
That's what a petty criminal is, for those of you not familiar with the term. Police did not ask him anything about the jihadist terrorist networks in which he worked. Officers who interrogated him were ordered to be gentle. The police who hit him were not indicted. Europe's leaders disseminated the idea in the West that the West was guilty of oppressing Muslims. They therefore sowed the seeds of anti-Western resentment amongst the Muslims in Europe. This is the population replacement migration program.
Yes. And listen, in my personal opinion, if the Muslims want to have Sharia law, they can have it in their own country or inside their own house.
Yes, that's fine.
But not out in the streets, especially in this country.
Yep.
Listen, I have been on scene shortly after a young girl was stoned to death in Iraq.
Jesus.
I think she was like 13, and I never got the full backstory. But like we rolled into there, and it literally just happened outside the gates of the FOB, where we were getting fuel and water because we're going up to Kirkuk, and it was like just I don't even know the name of the place. But when we drove through there and we saw like the crowds of people who came out to watch this fucking barbarity, I was like, oh, fuck this place, man. This is such an evil place. And that is how Iraq was. And most of the Middle East is just the same.
Again, with they don't have a conscience.
Yes, they don't. No.
It's not there. They're confused. If you say what you did is brutal and inhumane, they'll look at you like, I don't understand.
Well, also it's in the Quran. They're not really required to have any mercy for non-believers. They can lie to us, sign contracts and not honor them.
Yes.
And there's no downside.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And these are the people. These aren't the only people we're bringing in here. But listen, you're bringing in a bunch of military-aged individuals who have no marketable skills. What the fuck do you think they're going to do?
The Congolese and the Senegalese in particular are mostly jungle dwellers. I know that's probably to get me an istophobic mark, but I don't care. It's a fact. Go there. It's jungle.
Yes.
It's what it is. Okay. And they have been at each other for millennia. There are letters from Greek traders who went up and down those coasts because they would trade in Morocco and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go a little further. Whoa, hey, turn around. Those guys are bad news.
Yeah.
They have no compunction at all about hacking you to death. It doesn't occur to them that it's a bad idea. And they have a really fun one where their warlords have this idea that if they eat part of an enemy in public, they will gain the enemy's powers. That's the kind of mentalities we're dealing with.
Listen, the Afghans did that too.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had.
There's all kinds of stories during the Russian invasion where they did that.
I have never heard that before.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked to a guy, retired CIA guy.
Yeah, Christians in Action.
Yeah, Christian in Action.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he was going to meetings, meeting this one warlord, and the guy had 4 or 5 high-ranking Russian general heads or Russian officer skulls that half rotten on display in his house.
I know they take trophies.
Yes.
That I knew, but I didn't know they eat them.
All I'm just saying, if you have 6 rotting dead heads in your house, it's nasty.
Trophy takers.
It's nasty.
I'm talking about eating your enemy in public so that you can take his powers from him.
There's stories of them eating the Russian livers and stuff like that. I mean,
that's crazy.
And listen, whenever war devolves into something that bad, there will be cannibalism of some type.
That's fair. The Afghans are another one, and there's thousands. There's probably 1 million of them over here by now, if not more. The Afghans are another one. You're familiar with Homer, the poet?
Yeah.
He was Alexander the Great's scribe. He wrote in, I think it was 365 BC, there's nothing in Afghanistan. Stay out of Afghanistan. They have 3 seasons. They have planting season, they have war season, and they have harvest season.
And they still do that today.
This is almost 3,000 years later.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Listen,
season, war season, and harvest season.
I know a bunch of Huas who did basically all of their time deployed to Afghanistan.
I would not.
And literally, as soon as the snow started flying, everyone's like, all right, we're good for a few months. Yeah. And then as soon as it started melting, guess what? It's war season.
Yeah. Right after we plant, hang on, we're going to plant our poppies, and then we're coming for you.
Yeah. It's literally predictable. Like, okay, well, we got 2 more weeks before they start really getting ponying up here. Let's get our choppers loaded up.
Yeah, seriously. You get the fobs out there reinforced. Extra sandbags, please. The March 22 jihadist attacks in Brussels in 2016. What's surprising is they did not take place sooner. What is also surprising is that more people were not killed. It seems the authors of the attacks had larger projects in mind. They wanted to attack a nuclear power plant. Others may succeed in just doing that. Remember, this is 2016. This is 8 years ago that we're looking at here. Brussels is currently basically an Islamist state.
All right. Now, for all the guys who have been watching my channel on the regular, I did a video years back. I believe it's called Zombie Apocalypse. I have like 5 or 6 of these videos. And one of them is where they actually attack a nuclear power plant here in Michigan. Because if you drive from Dearborn, you can literally be at this nuclear power plant in 20 minutes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's bad.
I didn't.
And guess what? They overload a nuclear power plant on the Great Lakes. Guess what? All the drinking water, bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thing. So with this invasion that's going on, and it is an invasion, this is not migration. People do not migrate across oceans without slave ships. With this invasion that's going on, the overlords of this project, who appear to be the WEF, the WHO, and the UN, and members of our own Congress, and then the EU and Europe, they believe that they can control these hordes. I am going to posit right now that they lose control of these hordes very shortly. I bet you it's already started. Ilhan Omar just demonstrated that Somalis think they control Minnesota.
You said that, yeah.
And they're a warlord culture. They're another one that the Greek traders wrote about.
Correct.
Was the Somalis. And they've always been that way. when we went into Somalia, the Somalis laughed at us. They're like, "We just fight, man. It's just what we do."
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. We're going to kill you, and then we're going to go back to killing each other. That's just what it is.
Well, I had some of my buddies who were in the Mogadishu situation.
I knew what was his name, Tim, one of the Delta medics.
Now,
I
that
met
went down
him
in what, 93, right?
93.
Yeah.
I think October of 93, Operation Gothic Serpent. I met one of the Delta medics on an exercise, and then one of the TOC commanders, I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if that individual is still in the industry anymore. But when the helicopters initially went down, one of the individuals in the movie, they're all standing around going, "Fuck, what do we do now?" This person was one of those people.
Yes.
And they said the movie is so toned down from the level of violence that actually took place there with how violent the Somalis were. That person said they had to tone the movie down. Otherwise, it would have basically gotten an X rating because it would have been nothing but bodies being turned into purple mist. And
well, I mean, that's what happens.
Right.
I mean, first of all, this is a side note. The whole, Mogadishu Ranger horse shit that happened in 93. That happened because of pride and arrogance. Simple. If they would have
support.
Yeah. Well,
pride, arrogance, and zero air support.
Well, the thing is the pride and the arrogance prevented them from coordinating with the armor just in case they need an extraction.
10th Mountain was under the UN's command at that time.
I know, but it took them, what, a day?
Yes.
18 hours to get the armor in there to extract these guys?
Yes.
And the only reason they didn't do that coordination prior to that is fucking pride and arrogance.
Yes.
Listen, Rangers are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, but they're not Supermen.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they're human beings.
Like 2 platoons of Rangers, too. It wasn't like the regiment.
No. Yeah.
It was a support element with a support element of D-boys. There were some PJs there, and I think there were a handful of SEALs there as well.
But like this like Delta Force, their main security force is the Rangers.
Correct.
Like Delta rarely does anything without Rangers being there watching their six.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, unless they're doing like recon.
Yeah. Let's get back on subject.
We're back. We're getting back.
We could talk about military stuff all day.
We can go deep down that rabbit hole we just went down. So let's go and talk to the U.S. Border and Customs folks, shall we? I'm rolling the wrong way. Now I'm not. This is the U.S. Border Patrol encounters in the Southwest Border fact sheet. Now, this is from May of last year, and I want to show you something really interesting here because this is a strange pattern. It's almost like there's a plan. U.S. Border Patrol encounters by enforcement policy, apprehensions, and Title 42 expulsions. Expulsions, they basically escort them out of the country, and they usually just come right back. But here's where stuff gets weird. Remember, this is from May of 2022 or 23, and I will blow this up a little for you so you can see it better. All of a sudden, in 2021, we've got 1 million single adults coming across the border. And the family units are rarely vetted as actual family units. It can be a man, a woman, and a child, and they have no way of telling whether or not they're put together. There were a couple of guys. There's that SEAL who's down at the border all the time. And then a couple of other like YouTube reporters are finding piles of documents so that you can't tell who's who. They do that so that you can't separate them, and they can bring the woman and the child into the country, and then that woman and child are probably trafficked.
Yes.
But look at the spike in 2022. Over 2 million, close to 2.5 million in 1 year.
Correct.
Just compiling across.
Let's go to the board here so I could
go to the board.
A math comparison. Put me on the big screen so I can see if we can see all the numbers. I should have done this prior. Okay, I'll move it up a little bit. Sorry, bear with me. Technical issue. I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff.
Right about there.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So if you look at the board behind me, right, this is pretty much what it costs to put just one crunchy on the ground on the, in the military. About $1,200 for the main rifle that they have. Because if you're lower enlisted, you get a rifle or a carbine. And usually 6 to 8 magazines. All right. Your unit that you have will more than likely get around $7,800 per person in the unit to cover training expenses, ammunition, stuff like that. But that's only, when they are training for their mission. It doesn't
company level.
This is just at the company level or the battalion level. It's the same thing. All right. So that's about $9,000. Then you have additional training, airborne, and then I have a nuclear power plant operator. There's an actual school for that for guys in the Navy. Those dudes make stupid cash if they leave the service.
The underwater welders too.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh my God. All right. And then you have the pay. Basically, if you're a crunchy PFC, less than 4 years in the service, you're going to make $22,000 to $24,000 a year. That's it. All right. And then you got Medicare. We'll just average it out $2,000, per year per soldier, because you have to go in twice a year to have your teeth scraped, and your teeth looked at, get a physical and stuff like that. All right. And then you have equipment. Now this is above and beyond your basic, clothing allowance. Basically $5,000 covers your uniforms,
your packs, your carriers,
your pack, your LBE or Gore-Tex sleeping bags, all of the shit.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go to a tier 1 or tier 2 unit, you're going to get your bulletproof vest, optics, thermals, helmet, all kinds.
Quadruples almost instantly.
Yeah, all kinds of fancy equipment. So this number goes from 12 to 20,000 really quick. But we're not talking about that. We're just talking right here, basic bare bones. You're talking $40,000 to $60,000 to keep a guy in the field or in the military, lower level enlisted.
Basic issue, Joe.
Yeah, basic issue. Here's the immigration. All right. These people show up, they're going to get automatic welfare. And if you average it out, the cash value of welfare benefits, it's about $48,000 if you average it out across each state, because some states are higher, some are lower. All right. Then you got Medicare or Medicaid.
Let me touch on that one.
Yeah, touch on that one.
Medicare is what you get when you're older, and it's got limits and boundaries, and you have to pay a deductible and all of that. Medicaid is what a certain class of urban sophisticates and illegal immigrants get in the United States of America. And I know this because of what I do in the legal industry. Medicaid is unlimited. It's just you get medical care, period.
And where does that money come from?
You, me?
From the Social Security Fund.
Yeah, comes from the Social Security Fund.
So
exactly.
Literally, these dumbass Democrats since the 60s have been passing laws that are invalid and illegal because you're not supposed to be able to take money out of the Social Security. That's for people who paid into it.
Yes.
So when it goes under, I want you to think immigration and single mothers, because Title 4D also comes out of the Social Security pot as well.
That's correct.
Yes.
Now, back to Medicaid.
Sorry.
Driving on.
All right. Then you have housing. Listen, these people show up there in net negative. They can't afford housing, so somebody's going to have to pony this up. That's $20,000. Then you got legal expenses because they got to have free attorneys and stuff, which are paid for by the taxpayer. That's like 12 or 10 to 25,000. All right. Then you got transport fees because you got to move them around. That's $2,000 to $5,000, and seed money. They literally give these people between $5,000 and $10,000 just for showing up.
The Chaldeans were getting that.
Yes.
That's where I first heard about it.
Correct. And when you add all of this up, that's $105,000 in value that these guys are absorbing by illegally crossing the border. So this is a war of attrition. It's costing us this amount of money to keep these illegals here, $105K a year. And we have to put people in the service, keep them defending this country. Well, at some point, we're going to run out of money if they keep doing this. So we won't be able to afford this or this at the same time.
Yep. And then
It's
we
like
won't
2 for
have one
1.
to defend us against the other.
Yeah. It's 2 for 1. This is just basic math. When you break it down, we are getting horse-tied and horse-fucked by the goddamn Democrats who are pushing this horse shit.
Yeah, we're getting pumped like a stump broke mule, man.
Oh my God. All right, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We needed to go through that. That was an important piece of the puzzle. So you've got 2.5 million illegals flying through the border on us here. Now what happens? It's usually been the Mexicans for years and years and years. Illegals come across the border. You know what? Most of them aren't bad people.
No.
My best friend is Tex-Mex.
Uh-huh.
She's from Texas, and she married a Polak from Detroit. And they have like 7 kids. And they're good people. Most of the basic issue Mexicans are decent people. The ones that everybody thinks of that are the nasty ones, that are the MS-13s and stuff, they're from Central America and the mountain areas, and you could tell because they've got stumpy limbs and they look like a potato. Danny
Okay.
Trejo is one of those,
Oh yeah.
for example.
Okay.
Yes, he's not a real Mexican at all. He's a Oaxacan or something like that. They're their own people. They just are. It's just they're their own people. That's how it is. It's always been that way. But then you get Northern Triangle is those South America or Central American states that I was talking about. And then all of a sudden, we start seeing around, there was always been a handful, but around 2019, all of a sudden we're getting more people from a historically atypical country.
Yes.
And then in 2022, look at those numbers. What do you see there?
I see an invasion.
Yep.
That's exactly what I see.
Yeah. That is 1 million from historically atypical countries. What does that mean? It means Congo. It means Yemen. It means
China.
Lots and lots of war-age Chinese males. Lots of Indians. For some reason, there's been an influx of Nepalese. I thought they just kind of hung out in the mountains and
I don't know.
Sherpa'd on Mount Everest.
I have no idea.
Where's
none of my
Nepalese
business.
Invading?
Well, my thing
Chinese,
is this.
I get.
Now, listen, I'm not against immigration if they do
No.
it correctly, but I'm also against the fact that we're bringing people in here who are absorbing an insane amount of our tax revenue, and they've never contributed fuck all to this country.
They have no
are a
intention of it
net
either. They hate
negative.
us, most of them.
What?
Most of them hate us, and they have
Yes.
no intention of contributing.
Correct.
They're just here for
The free shit
stuff.
That's right.
And it's the same people bringing them in every single time. It's the group in Congress and their little interest groups and the WEF and the WHO all working together. It's the same people every single time.
Yeah, and listen, that needs to scare the shit out of you from 2021, 2022, 2023. And oh my God, I mean, just look at
the
the
23 prediction. And 23 is over. So we don't know what those numbers are just yet.
And if you think because they're going to show us the accurate numbers, they're not. I'm a firm believer that the Border Patrol is sold out. They're not going to report the proper amount of numbers, or maybe the guys running it are getting their dicks stepped on to not report the actual numbers. We need to know the actual fucking numbers.
What this most likely represents is individuals showing up at established border checkpoints, and has nothing to do with the actual people crossing the border en masse at any point at any given time.
Yeah.
These numbers are what the Border Patrol has counted.
And here's another.
That's terrifying.
Here's another weird thing I've heard some rumor mill about. Is a lot of the fentanyl is now being intercepted at the southern border for the most part. It's now being brought in through the northern border, which is virtually undefended.
It's completely undefended. It's the Canadian border.
That's right.
They've never had a cause to defend that border.
Yet.
They have never tried to invade us for hockey sticks or maple syrup.
Yes, you are correct. Yet.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
But the Canadian Army is only like 5,000 guys, isn't it?
I have no idea.
It's small. It's embarrassingly small. They had a couple of good units at one point, but they're not around much anymore.
Well, they disbanded their airborne units, I believe.
They're one airborne unit.
Yeah. They got rid of like 2 or 3 of their better units.
Yeah.
Over bullshit.
Of course. At any rate, Our population, the core population of the United States of America, is fine. It's stable. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
It has grown at exactly the rate that it should grow. You don't want a population to just go whoop. No,
bad.
population goes nice and steady up. And then there'll be periods where you've got wars, it'll drop. The white population of the United States of America between 1939 and 1945 dropped 10%.
That's right.
War casualties, dead guys.
Mhm.
The men we lost took 10%
Yeah.
of our men out of the population.
And they were all disposable because they didn't bring their bodies back from overseas. And we all know the deal.
Yeah. And this idea that the UN has pushed into people's heads that we're not procreating, we're not having babies, blah, 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 blah. Because I started looking at it, and I live in a rural area. And in America, if you live in a rural area, it means mostly white people. It simply does. We have some Mexicans over by Imlay City.
Mhm.
And there are a couple of historic black farmers there whose families have been here. They're from the Underground Railroad.
Ah,
They're Underground Railroad families that just stayed and took up stakes and put a farm in.
good.
They're good people. I see one of them at Tractor Supply all the time. At any rate, I have been watching because I've been seeing all of this and looking at it and wondering. And I'm seeing families, I'm seeing younger and younger families with more and more babies. I saw a family clearly in their like mid-20s, and the girl had like 4 kids in tow.
Yeah.
Our population levels are fine. It's not going down. We're being flooded. And we're being flooded with this insanity over here.
Yeah, we're being invaded.
Yes.
Like I've said earlier in the
Deliberate
show,
invasion.
we are literally in a war on every front except the two-way rifle range front
Yes.
yet. But that's coming.
Absolutely, that's coming. There are apparently 19 states that have committed their National Guards to the border.
Mhm.
There are, I think, trucker groups moving in that direction.
700,000 trucks heading down south.
There was a display of tractors on a short video that I saw. I don't have a context or a location, but the headline said tractors on the border for the Texas National Guard.
Well, here's the thing. You got 19 states plus Texas was 20 states. That's almost half the union. 5 more, you have literally half the country ready to defend the border above and beyond what our dictator in chief, who is installed, is doing. Because let's be honest, he technically should not be the president. He's not fulfilling his oaths. Yeah, he's conspiracy, treason, what you call it, whatever you want. But my God, this is just getting to the point where it's just painful to watch. I'm literally watching them hammer spikes into my country, trying to crucify it or kill it.
Yes.
And they expect me to sit here and be quiet, which I can't.
No, that's not going to happen.
No, I am going to continue to talk about it.
All of you gentle listeners out there, I want you to write these numbers down real fast and go look them up after the show. You don't want to leave the show. We're not done yet. 18 U.S. Code Section 2381, 2382. That's treason and misprison of treason. For those of you who don't know what misprison is, you know what misprison is?
No.
Misprison is when you, in an office that you hold and have been appointed to, elected to, or promoted to, military counts as well,
Mhm.
see a crime, recognize it to be a crime, know it to be a crime, know it to be a reportable crime, and then fail to report it for any reason. That is misprison of treason. What this means in the grand scheme of thing is that the entire federal government is guilty of misprison of treason because everybody knows what's happening at the border is treason.
Correct.
It is obviously treason. Aid and support to the enemy.
Yeah.
And this is clearly
technically they're not the enemy because there's no declaration of war. I'm just giving you the argument that the left is going to pull.
They have already tried to pull this. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. I've brought this up numerous times, protecting the border from invasion. The Democrats are saying, oh, the founders didn't mean this kind of an invasion. They meant something else entirely. This isn't the invasion. This is not the invasion the founders were trying to tell you about. This is not it. It's something else. But not this.
But here's the thing. When you're at war, you inflict casualties upon the enemy because it burns up resources.
Yes.
There's your resources right there.
Yes.
$105,000 per person or per mother and 2 kids that's coming across the border.
Yes.
All the free shit they're going to get.
Yeah.
It's like wounding a soldier and then having us to expend resources to care for and recuperate this guy. And they're sending over millions and millions of these people. I mean, there's a reason why we went from 3 trillion to 27 trillion now. I don't even know the number. It's absolutely insane.
To give an example of weaponizing an invasion, here's a small one, but this happened in 2008 in Libya, between Libya and Italy. Gaddafi, who was in charge at the time, who's actually a pretty clever guy. Everybody thinks he was a psycho dictator. The guy was smart, though. He was
listen, he was a psycho.
He was a psycho.
Yeah.
In 2008, more than 32,000 people were trying to enter illegally into Italy. The EU was keen to strike a pact with Libyan leader Gaddafi to help stem the flow. Following the signing of the Rome-Tripoli Accord, the number of people entering illegally dropped to only 7,300 in 2009. Here's what was going on. Gaddafi demanded 5 billion a year in euros for Libya's efforts, warning that Europe could turn into Africa, as there are millions of Africans who want to come in, which reveals another piece of the puzzle. Why would any sane country give up all of its able-bodied males? Well, it's really simple. All of those governments in those little crappy backwater countries are corrupt.
And they can't control their people. So the less they have, the better off they are.
What they can do is take money from the EU and the WHO and the USA, frankly. The State Department does this as well. In exchange for their selling their people. It's the slave trade. Give us a whole bunch of your people. We're doing this immigration thing.
So it's the slave trade once removed.
Yes.
Because you're not paying them for the slaves. You're paying them to keep them out.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These third world dictators, and most of them are dictators in most of these countries, one form or another, they're a dictator, are taking money from these organizations, the WHO, the WEF, the UN, and probably directly from the State Department.
Or
we're down there a lot.
You have NGOs that are taking money from the government and then
and they're the transport mechanism.
Correct.
They're the middle passage.
Yeah, they are.
Those NGOs are the middle passage.
Here's another thing that really just burns my bridges is we have a bunch of individuals in the Christian religion who are bringing people to this United States. I mean, come on now. I mean, if you want to convert them over there, that's fine. I don't care. But right now, at this time of what's going on with this country, that needs to stop.
So there's this story in a very old book about these 2 guys. And one of them, he's a teacher and a priest, and he's got a group of friends that he spends a lot of time with. And one of the other guy in the story, he starts talking to these other priests who don't like this new priest in town. And he says, I could maybe if you, and the other priests go, oh yeah, here's 30 pieces of silver.
Yes.
For you to lead the Romans to this priest's house, this teacher's house, and pick him up. This is a story that's been told before.
I think that guy's name is Judas.
Judas. What happened to him anyway? Didn't he walk into the temple of the other priests and dump the coins on the floor and say, I can't bear the weight of my own sins, and then go hang himself?
I believe that's what happened.
That is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for some of these NGOs to realize what they've done to their own people, their own country, and their own communities and their own families in the long run.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
waiting for them to realize it and maybe, bring the silver back and then go find a tree.
Well, we're having our own compassion and mercy weaponized against us.
Yes,
That's
that is
exactly what's happened.
precisely what has happened.
And that is that is some evil fucking shit there. That's almost as evil as destroying hope and love. Almost, not quite the same.
That is pretty much exactly what's going on, though.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you've been strangely silent the entire time here. Are you sleeping, drinking beer? What?
I'm just hanging back, watching the chats, and
That's
listening
fun.
to you guys go back and forth,
Yeah.
pushing the buttons like a good drunken monkey. So
There you go. Drunken Monkey. It's a kung fu. Jimmy is coming out with a kung fu manual in the summer, by the way.
oh,
Style.
side tangent. There apparently is a new Jordan Peele movie coming out, and you're not gonna fucking believe what it's titled.
I shudder.
Monkey Man.
Oh God! I saw the Jordan Peele movie.
It's a Jordan Peele movie.
I saw the trailer.
It looks actually pretty badass. Not gonna lie.
I didn't know Jordan Peele was making movies.
Is that the story about the guy who gets reincarnated as a monkey?
No, it's about a cage fighter or a fighter over in India. But I can see the inspiration from Sun Wukong and Journey to the West. I can see that inspiration there, but it looks pretty badass. So
are you one of those esoteric kung fu movie fans, Jimmy?
Not really. I liked Jackie Chan and the Drunken Master and Kung Pao.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of those in the early 80s and late 70s. They were on channel 56.
Ah, yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? Do you remember? It was like at 11 o'clock on Saturdays, and I swear to God, it was called Jab Slap Theater.
Yep.
Right on the hit, just because nobody had any problem with that.
No,
it was Jab Slap Theater, period.
I mean, they had Kung Fu Week, Monster Week, Godzilla Week.
Sir Graves Ghastly.
Yeah. I love that
I
guy.
got his autograph when I was 6.
He dead now.
He did.
He
was
dead. Long dead. Long.
He was old in 1776.
In 1976.
76 already.
I think he died in the late 80s.
Oh my God. I am rapidly running out of tabs here, except for this one that I have. And because we went through this fast. We went through this really fast. We're back up to these.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull this up and
Okay.
and let's talk the lines here.
Yeah. So what this represents is the years. The blue is 2021, orange is 2022, black is 2020.
You hit a button.
Where did it go? I touched a thing. And the dark orange is 2024. These are the land border encounters by month. And what's frightening is, one, the numbers jump through the roof right away. October, November, you can see it just skyrockets over 300,000. Okay. That's in less than 3 months. You come down here, and the really frightening part is it's all single adults. And already in 2024, you're close to 500,000 of them. What is not being said here is that these single adults are war-age males.
Yeah, between what, 16 and
45.
45
is typically the accepted age bracket for such a creature.
For such activities.
These are pouring into the country. They don't have anything to do. When you have young men gathered together in groups of a single homogenous identity or groups of homogenous identities, they're bored, they're in city areas. The first things they go for are burglary, rape, violence, and murder.
Yeah.
Like clockwork.
Well, first of all, that happened all across Europe. While, back
already, it's been happening for the last 15 years.
No, I'm talking about in the Middle Ages.
Oh, yes.
Back when the the Crusades were kicking off.
Back when Istanbul was Constantinople.
Yeah, well, the thing is there was all these young people hanging around in Europe, and they're getting in all kinds of problems. Well, we got to get rid of some of these military-age guys, and how about we have a crusade or 3?
Ooh, this is a very long story.
It is.
You're right. You're right, but that's in a compressed period of time.
Correct. And I'm giving you a very brief description of what happens when you have too many men in one place and they have fuck all to do.
I history like you math.
Yeah.
And it's causing that thing in the back of my head, the little history monster is like beating on the window. Let me in. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on in the back of my head right now.
But I mean, historically speaking,
you're correct.
Whenever a country has a bunch of war age males sitting around doing nothing, listen, men are not good at sitting around being bored.
That's
shit is going to happen.
That's a fact.
Yep. Up in New York City, I believe it was last week or not too long ago, there was a report of a mass quote unquote riot that ended with a lot of people getting, well, some extra holes poked in them.
Mm-hmm.
They get stabbed.
And it was a little stabby. It was like London on a Thursday. And it was between the black migrants and the brown migrants. They apparently, one of them looked across at each other and they went to town on each other.
Yes.
And that's actually, when people start tribing up, that's what happens.
Yep.
Also, a lot of those countries, it's just a fact. It is what it is. There's a lot of subpar IQ going on there. And with subpar IQ comes low impulse control.
Or hyperviolence.
Hyperviolence and low impulse control.
Yeah, you're correct.
They'll just do stuff. And it means they get stabby.
Yeah.
When groups of room temperature IQ people get together, people tend to end up room temperature.
That's true. That is an absolute fact.
Good. That's a good observation.
Yeah. How would you put that on a shirt? Room temperature IQs equal room temperature bodies?
I don't know.
Yeah, we can hash that out.
We'll figure it out. That's one there though, Jimmy. I like that. So in 2021 is when the trouble really, really began to peak at the border, though. I mean, you can see from this graph right here, the Mexican numbers dropped way off. And then they picked up because everybody wanted in on the party. You can just walk into America and it's fine.
Yeah.
But the other than Mexico people crossing the border,
that is skyrocketed.
So from basically 29,000 to 1.05 million is not a coincidence.
No.
That is not a coincidence.
It's intentional.
It is intentional.
Yes.
There is no other way to get numbers like that.
Well, first of all, if you are a refugee, how the hell are you walking across 4 or 5 different countries, coming through Mexico, and then making it to the border?
And an ocean.
What?
And an ocean.
Yeah, and an ocean.
And an ocean.
Yep.
Bullshit. This is intentionally being done, and we need to figure out who's doing it, and perhaps revoke their lease.
WEF, UN, the WHO,
yep,
members of our own Congress, the EU, and it's all being facilitated by them. The actual transporters are those NGOs.
Yes.
It is what it is. There's no real way to deny it. Growing old sucks because I keep having to take my glasses off and then put them back on again so that I don't get a flaming fucking headache from looking at you across the room through these, but then put my glasses on to look at the screen here.
I gotcha.
And it's all a bag of dicks.
I mean, this is a straight up invasion.
Yeah.
And it's being done on purpose.
Yes.
And nobody is talking about it except for the conspiracy theorists out there.
We're them now.
We are them now, even though we're showing you the numbers.
Yes.
All right. We've talked about actual policies. We're showing the people coming across since 2016.
Yes.
All right. And if you're going to call somebody an istophobe idiot because they're lining up 2 parts of a column to get to a box of numbers, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to show people here one more time. We'll start in 1980 where we had 226,545,805 white Americans in the country. And why am I focusing on the whites? Not because I'm an istophobic. It's not. Okay. It's because that was the base population of the country. That is our core culture. It is what it is. When I lived in Korea, I expected to be treated like an outsider.
Uh-huh.
And I made a point of behaving within their parameters of manners and customs because I was in their country.
Correct.
This is ours.
But yet these
country.
people coming over don't acclimatize or assimilate to
No.
our culture.
But you can see it goes from 226 million, 231, 233, 235, 237 to 246 in 89. And then we come down here to 1997, 8 years later, 267 million.
So it's a slow uptick.
We're fine.
Mhm.
Nothing has happened to the white population of the United States of America. I mean this as a white pill. A white pill.
White pill for Whitey?
Phobic too.
What?
It's phobic too.
White pill for
I
Whitey?
might get that white pill for Whitey.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, is that called a Whitey pill?
It's like an 80s garage band, white pills for Whitey.
I don't know.
Totally 80s garage band right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, our population is fine. We're not losing any numbers. We're not having any problems with birth rates. It's nonsense being sold to us. You don't want populations to spike.
No, I know, but
Our older population will die off, and then it will pick up again, and then it will level off and do this, what it's doing right now.
well, we could hope,
It's
yeah.
a normal pattern. Well, that's what's supposed to happen anyway.
Yes.
But instead, we're being flooded. We're still at 89% of the population. There's just 40% that's illegal that needs to be thrown out. That doesn't belong here at all.
Yeah, we definitely do need to throw a lot of the. And here's another thing that some people are going to get pissed off about. If your parents came here illegally when you were a child and all of a sudden you guys get hemmed up and you want to get sent back, you want to sing the blues that it's mean to send you back because you lived here your entire life, you need to point that negativity at your goddamn parents because they're the ones that broke the law to bring you here in the first place. Sorry. Bummer.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
And here's another thing we need to get rid of. If you come here illegally and then you decide to have a child that's born here on our country, you should not be a U.S. citizen. You didn't do it right. You need to get all boxed up, sent back to where you came from, and fill out the paperwork and go through the correct steps.
No other country on earth that I know of allows this process. And it is a corruption of the actual process, which was meant to be so that when slaves had babies, after they had gotten rid of slavery, right?
Mhm.
They wanted to make sure that those babies couldn't just be snatched up and sold off. So they declared those babies to be citizens because the slaves were not technically citizens yet. It was in that gray spot between we're done with slavery
and we don't know what to do.
And we don't know what to do
Yeah.
where blacks are now citizens. Most people don't know that the United States of America, Britain passed the law in 1756.
Correct.
The United States of America passed the law in 1798, ending the international slave trade.
Correct.
Then they stopped slavery altogether, and that happened in 1808.
In the northern states, not in the southern states.
It was supposed to be all of them.
Yes.
Okay, so there comes the argument where the Civil War was fought over slavery, except for one problem. The Industrial Revolution had happened 3 years before the beginning of the Civil War, which makes, and I'm sorry about this, but it's just a fact, okay? It makes slaves of all kinds. It made them obsolete farm equipment.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a whole other show. We won't go down that rabbit hole, but it's just a fact. Obsolete farm equipment. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
You're absolutely
There
right.
is. I will poke my head down that rabbit hole just a little bit. There's been a rumor going around that I've heard. I can't
Jimmy,
confirm it.
tip.
Just a tip. Yep. The reason why that slavery lasted so long in the United States is because when Thomas Jefferson penned the Declaration of Independence, rumor has it that he wanted to completely get rid of slavery. All men are created equal. He wanted to live by those words. The only reason why that didn't happen was because the southern colonies wanted to keep their slaves in order to fight with Britain.
I know there were arguments about that.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
I am positive that there were arguments about that. Here's another tidbit for you. Slavery did continue in the United States, mostly in the east
Hmm.
because it was black slaves who were freed. How do I know this? Because I've hugged a slave.
Hmm.
My great-grandfather was an indentured servant from the ages of 7 to 16.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Then
you
you
could
had-
say, oh, it's indentured servitude. He ran away.
Yeah, and actually,
Escaped
I
the Upper Peninsula.
I
I've hugged a
have
slave.
the notes of a novel I'm working on about an individual who gets shanghaied in Seattle during that period of time, and then comes back and wreaks revenge.
I could tell you some of the family stories, and you could use the elements.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I have actually hugged a slave. My great grandfather was indentured from the age of 7 to 16.
Yeah.
And it just was. Irish kids got sold off to pay the damn rent.
Yep.
They sold kids to pay the rent because they didn't have any choice.
Correct. And listen, back then in Ireland, England let a lot of those people starve to death during the potato famine, and they did it on purpose.
Ireland was one of the most bountiful farming countries in the West.
Yep.
They just didn't let the Irish have any of the damn food. It all went to England.
There's that, and the fact that they did have that
The potato
potato
blight.
famine, the blight. Yeah.
Right. But the Irish were only eating potatoes because they couldn't get any of the food that was grown in the rest of the island.
Yeah.
At any rate, down
Sorry.
the rabbit hole we go again.
So we're already at 9:30, so let's start.
We are.
Let's rip through these super chats if we got any.
All right. Oh yeah, we got quite a few over here on YouTube here.
What-
So you start at the beginning here. Got Pete with $9.99. This has been the plan for decades.
Yes.
It is
Yep.
true. And I got Alex Patino coming in with 2 in a row for $10 each. Historians also never talk about the Aztecs were so hated because of human sacrifice that everyone around them found that joining the Spanish and converting to Catholicism was better than the Aztec.
Yes, that's actually quite accurate.
Yeah.
And he
Hey,
followed-
they're only sacrificing the one guy on the cross, and he's already gone.
Yeah.
Better.
And Alex, the second one. Also, when the Incas were toppled, nobody talks about that. And the army the Spaniards led was 70K strong, all recruited from modern day Mexico, led by Francisco Pizarro, along with 16 white Spaniards.
That's true.
Some people frown upon watching their loved ones get sacrificed.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know the intimate details of that, but again, I'm the history weirdo. I know that story to be true.
And we got Advab Dad with $7.99. Look into the Coudenhove Kellergy plan and the Charlemagne Prize.
Coudenhove Kalergi. I am extremely familiar with that. That is an entirely different show. You're right over the mark. You are correct.
Nice. Maybe we could have a history night with the Battle Dwarf.
There's so much history that we'll have to find a thing. So much.
You
history.
might have to plan.
You see my house. You
Well,
can come over
here's
to my
the
house for
thing
beer.
about Battle Dwarf is, I send him links, and he looks at them, and then he's like, "Hey, how about we do a show on this?" And I'll be like, sounds good. And then he takes all those links, puts them in order, adds his own stuff, and then he sends it to me, and then we start talking. There's no rehearsal. I mean, this is literally off the cuff, and that's why you guys watch.
We spent about 5 minutes before the show talking about this particular one,
Yes,
just to put the elements in order,
correct.
and that's it.
Go ahead and we can go ahead and take that tab off there. I think we're done with all the articles tonight. Let's see. Got a Dollar Coast backpacker with $5. Money velocity is key. Need population and people giving money value, or bricks will destroy the West. Money velocity most important in a fiat system.
Write that down. I want to look into money velocity.
Money velocity.
I don't know enough about that. I've heard of it, but I don't know the whole theory there. I want to dig on that one.
Uh-oh.
All right.
The Count Chad the Impaler, $5.56. That's a good number. Email 2 1-minute funny video links on Biden and Musk population to Redonkulas 12 that you can watch and or play if you want.
Well, no. Forward them to Blake. We can't show that stuff just yet because we have to make sure it's good to go before we show it.
You can send it to me too. I do IP.
Yeah.
Yep. And he ends that one with Goth immigrants ended Rome.
Just
It was the Visigoths that came down from Spain. They were being used as mercenaries by the Carthaginians hundreds of years before. Roman destroyed the Carthaginians, and obviously I'm going to take us down the rabbit hole, but it was the Visigoths who landed at Ravenna in 462 BC or AD, I think it was, and then sacked Rome.
But I remember the Celts sacked Rome early on. That's why they decided.
An army of Celts did sack part of Rome. Yes, it was prior to Julius Caesar.
And that is why
the reasons Julius Caesar went up there in 58 BC was for revenge.
Yes.
Because one of the proconsuls was his grandfather.
Correct.
Yep. Now, was that before or after Hannibal crossed the Alps? Because I know.
God, that was way after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hannibal crossed the Alps sometime BC.
Okay. Yep. I was gonna say I watched some simple history videos the other night because I was bored and drunk and needed some videos to watch. Moving on, Smooth Criminal here, $5. Because of these people, the new census will be needed. More representatives will be added, and guess who will own the House? Then a multi-front attack.
Yeah.
Then
exactly
it's a multi-front attack. Yep.
Yep.
That's why I'm seeing a lot of congressmen say only citizens need to be counted in the census, and that's how it's always should have been.
That's exactly the way it should be.
But no. Nope, not good. Sean St. George, $4.99. We need to stop behaving like the world's caretaker. There is no way we can meet without destroying ourselves. Yep.
Yeah.
Talk about the US there. Hodaka07 with $10 Canadian. Hey, Pop, Mark from Canada, a very long time follower. Who the hell would have thought Fetterman would be the smartest Democrat of all? There has been a rumor. I can't confirm it, but it sounds like Fetterman's wife up and left him. She deleted her Twitter. She deleted her Instagram. All of the photos of them together have been wiped off the internet.
So wait. So what you're saying?
Lurch's wife left him.
Is a woman left her husband?
Yep.
That's like that never happens.
I was wondering if it was because she wasn't happy.
More than likely, she probably the three magic words: "I'm not happy," and half your shit disappears, and so do your kids.
Either that, or it's Fetterman backing the small hats instead of the other side. That could also be an issue. That could also be a thing, but that's another rabbit hole. Got Robert Anderson with $10. What we are seeing now is more than likely the North American Union in practice.
Okay.
Alex Patino comes back, $5. In 2006, Ireland was the last European country that ended citizenship by birth. So the USA needs to do that.
Huh.
Absolutely. Got a Cool Cat here with $20. My parents waited 10 years and they paid the fines and they took the Pledge of Allegiance. It angers me what's going on the border, and I'm American Latino. Close the border.
Correct.
Told you.
Yes. It should not take people that want to do it the correct way to come in to assimilate because they're immigrating.
Most of the Mexicans I know are good people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah. The people that want to do it the correct way.
Yeah.
By all means, come on in. We'll do what we can to get you guys started. And then there you go. But yeah, it shouldn't take 10 years. That should not take 10 years. It shouldn't take 5 years. It should be probably 3 maximum, in my opinion.
No, that's fair.
Well, here's the thing. If you bring something of value, then sure, you can have a compressed timeline.
You need to. You have something of value.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not welcome here.
Now I can. Well, this isn't my idea pushing back. This is fat fuck. What's the dude's name that shit himself on TV and he had to waddle off?
Jared Adler.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he actually said on camera during a meeting in the Senate chambers that, well, we need to have illegal immigrants come over. Who else is going to pick our fucking crops? Oh,
comment. I will get this show banned from the air if I go off on this particular individual.
All right.
That's where I'm going to leave it at that because I too have some very choice words for
comment.
Yeah. Let's see. And last one here on YouTube before we jump over. We got HTRSP Super with $10. Thanks for bringing up these topics. More people need to be aware of this stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Share the videos.
Man.
White pills
Sure.
for white.
Yep.
That's great. Band name.
There's another title for us future stream. Let's see. Jump over to Rumble here. We got a handful of them. We also got 982 watching over there on Rumble. YouTube had 680, only 496 likes. I don't know, guys. Do we think we need to punish them with a Hillary video?
Oh no! Are we being forced to watch?
I hate that bitch.
That's for being slackers on YouTube. Damn it. There we. All right. Let's see that 497. All right, we're climbing a little bit. All right. Jumping over to Rumble back here. We got MX Stiglar. $2. It was douchebag pro Hamas Jimmy Carter who allowed all Cubans touching U.S. soil to stay.
Yes,
Correct.
That's correct.
So that answers the question earlier. Got a Sopa Fresh 22, $5. Just paying tuition. He's going to catch the replay.
All right.
Sounds good. Anonymous with $2. When I study Islamic history, I noticed that they built large cities to act as forward bases for their armies. Muslim enclaves in Europe seem much the same.
We're having them here now as well. There's a mosque that is probably 2 acres in size at its base, being built at the corner of South Boulevard and
It's in Dearborn.
no, it's in Rochester.
Ooh.
It's huge. It's enormous.
That's gonna be a problem.
That's a problem. Let's see. MX Stiglar coming back, $4. Check your email, Pop and Blake, for subject migrant influx driving surge in homeless families being housed in Massachusetts hotels.
Yes.
Yep. I saw that earlier. And it's not just them being put in hotels. It's was it Delaware or one of those other states that are, oh, we can't take in all these illegal immigrants. They're asking people to Maryland. That's
Yes.
what it is.
To
They're
quarter
asking
them in their houses.
Yes, that
Yep.
is a blatant violation of the Third Amendment, and he can fuck off and smurf my balls.
That's absolutely correct.
Let's see. Evil Zombie Toe of $5. Morale is so low in Eagle Pass that Border Mission in Texas just had to sign a counseling form agreement to complain less.
That's fantastic.
Is this
Yeah.
military people or is this border patrol people?
It's Border Patrol.
Because military people, you don't ever want them to stop bitching because that's when shit
That's
really
when-
gets
Yeah. When Joe is quiet, there's something
it's
wrong.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I did miss one over. Yeah, it's quite a few. Looks like I had YouTube jump on me there for a second. We'll get back to those ones here, quick. I just want to.
Jimmy.
Yeah, damn it.
Phrasing.
Yeah, phrasing. Let's see if we got any more super chats over on Rumble here. We really need to figure out a way to pop out the chat or do something similar to YouTube so we're not having to scroll through all the shit there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are having a good time in the chat there.
It's okay.
Looks like, oh, it's got a Tantalum 180 with $2. Pop! Thank you for every time you crunch those numbers for the rest of us. It means more than anything any of us can tell you.
Well, first of all, I'm good at math when it's real numbers or when I have to do calculations to destroy other people. I'm good at that. But like the high crazy math where there's negative numbers and imaginary numbers, no, I don't play those games.
I discovered that I can do trigonometry, but only when my ass is on the line.
Motivation is everything, huh?
Nice. So you got a Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000 coming in. Just let the two-way rifle range begin already.
Yes.
Listen,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but a lot of people don't realize what that's going to entail. War is bad enough. Just a civil war. I mean, it just, there's nothing more uncivil than a civil war. Okay. It's bad.
No, while I understand that, the reason that I say yes is because I've done the strategic battle space planning and stuff, and I
Yeah.
have a pretty good idea where these two-way rifle ranges are going to take place, and they're not going to be near us.
Let's hope not.
Yep.
Because
Hopefully
I'm getting
not.
the fuck out of the way.
Not yet. Yeah.
I'm too old for that shit.
They're
Yeah.
they're going to occur in some places that really could use an attitude adjustment.
I mean, I could show up and report and talk about it, but I don't. My health is fucked. I can't participate in that shit.
Yeah, I would much rather avoid all that at all costs.
No,
So I'm glad where I live.
military service has just fucked my body 3 ways to Sunday.
Yep. So you got a net guy in 1975. He is voting for History Night with Battle Dwarf.
We'll pick a topic. We'll figure out a topic that is relevant to the show and that everybody agrees on, and we'll do one.
Okay.
Hell yeah. See, net guy in 1975 coming back in. Does Fetterman's ex-wife now get half of all his sweatshirt collection?
That's awesome.
Well, here's the thing. Like, he just recovered from a stroke. It's very common for women to divorce their husbands after major medical events.
Yep.
So,
and again, this was just a rumor I saw on Twitter. I can't confirm it, so
I know.
don't sue me.
Just rumor. We're just rumoring.
Yeah, just water cooler talk that I've heard. Can't confirm it, but so you got a Tantalum 180 coming back. I think birthright citizenship is good, yet needs an alteration. Birthright only after 1 or 2 generations from parents who were citizens. Just his 2 cents.
That would make them citizens anyway if the parents were citizens, though.
We'd have to work it out.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
Let's see.
You got one here from Adventure Dad for $2.99. He wants the Battle Dwarf reading list, please.
Oh, I literally have a library of books in my home that all date prior to 1980, and one goes back as far as 1796.
Okay.
So I will get you a good reading list, though.
All right.
There you go. We got Zarian with $2. Been a long time enjoyer. Thanks for helping me through my troubles.
You're welcome.
And we got a correction here. Jimmy, the name is MX Stilgar, not Stiglar. Please remember that. Bless you.
Stilgar's from Doom.
Stilgar.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Chatter.
Gotcha. All righty. We'll jump back over to YouTube there because I don't know why it jumped on me. I was at the bottom of the scroll and it fucking jumped on me. So let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. That one. Just trying to make sure I'm keeping everything up. Here we go. Sean St. George with $4.99. We need to stop behaving like the world's caretaker. There's no way we can meet that without destroying ourselves. That one I read.
Yeah, we got that one. He's absolutely correct, though.
He is, though. 100.
Yep.
I'm sick and tired of being the police force for the fucking world. Fuck them. They're not worthy of us.
There we go. Now we're at the right spot here. Alex Patino, $5. From Nepal, there's the mountain people known as the Gurkhas. Since the 1780s, the British recruit them for their Gurkha regiment because they're badass. Yes,
they are.
You do not want to fuck with the Gurkhas.
You want to know how badass? I caught a clip of this the other day. The Gurkhas, or the Nepalese who can't make it into the Gurkha regiment, they go to the French Foreign Legion. Because they want it. So the French Foreign Legion is pussier than the Gurkhas. And if you know anything at all about the French Foreign Legion, that should frickin' terrify you.
Yeah. I've served alongside the Legion. They're pretty good people.
They're pretty hard guys.
Yeah.
Yep. All righty. Yep. Sorry about that, gentlemen. But fucking YouTube, man. Fucking jumping around on me. Doug is fun with $5. Poop. I'm thinking, pretty sure he meant pop. Do you think the immigration problem is designed so these immigrants could be drafted into World War III?
You'd be herding cats.
Well, it'd be hard to do that.
There are too many different nations, too many different groups. You'd absolutely be herding cats. The myth that they're the UN army, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
You can't even look at the pictures. You can't even get them to stand in a.
I mean, well, during the Civil War, they had whole divisions of Irish guys.
But the Irish were all Irish.
Yeah.
We're talking people from 30, 40 different countries.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah.
You can get a bunch of Irishmen to stand still in a square if you hold a bottle of whiskey up and promise them a shot. Okay.
Yeah. You're right there, 100%.
Yeah. See, Sean St. George coming back, $9.99. When I was in the Army, we do 10 hours of cultural familiarization and expected to behave respectfully in foreign lands. Yet they demand we change for them as guests in our country. Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely correct.
One, I used to teach exactly those classes. Two, you are 110% correct.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
I had to sit in on quite a few of those classes.
I hated teaching those because the officers would sit there and do anything but listen to me.
Yeah. I've been on a few
Okay.
briefings like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. There we go. Yeah. I'm not sure what the deal is with the YouTube chat, but now we're all caught up there. All
We're
right.
caught up
let's
on
see.
Rumble.
Let's see. Let me scroll back up here because Rumble doesn't want to have to jump out. Okay. Yep. We got the name is MX Stilgar. I will remember that. Apologies for that one, but yep. Net guy 1975. Jimmy's becoming the dyslexicist.
We're all the dyslexicists. What do you want?
There's a little bit of a dyslexicist in us all. And let's see. We'll jump over to the best chat on the internet, MGTOW.tv. We got some nice boobies and butts going on over there. Lots of good stuff. That's a nice butt. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see. Let me jump to the chats here before I get distracted.
Focus, Jimmy.
Yeah. Sorry. Boobs. It's like the squirrel, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's see. We got a Lou Church $50 donation here.
Thank you.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Awesome. Thank you. He says, hey, Pop, thanks for the savage knife hand video for my kid. Outstanding.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He liked the Savage video, but we're gonna bleep out his name in the beginning and probably use it in an upcoming commercial or something.
Yeah.
Name redacted.
I just did a 2-minute ass chewing. The guy's 18-year-old son being just a raging asshole.
There we go. Sometimes you need a good ass kicking, man. I can use a really good ass kicking.
There you go. Can I devote 20 seconds to that one?
An ass chewing.
I just want to devote 20 seconds to the 18-year-old kid because I've been the 18-year-old kid.
So have I.
Kid, listen to your dad. Do it right the hell now. I'll tell you why. Because later on, when you're older, you'll regret it. Just do it, man.
Yeah.
Just knock it off, behave, and man up.
Yep.
It's pretty much how it goes.
You will thank him later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a generation list for $10 for the women that want someone to marry them. Send them to the southern border. There are plenty of them coming across that would love to get instant citizenship. Those women's problems are solved.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure those would be great marriages.
Yeah. Ooh.
Also, that's a great idea.
That's one hell of a scissor kicking lock right there.
We should send Christy Brinkley down there too. I bet she could find a man finally.
Yeah, I'm sick of. We're going to be doing a show on that one. Fuck that cunt.
Well, I guarantee you send Amy Wharton down there. Every one of those men are going to turn around and go back home.
Could we weaponize Babwa Wawa or who is on The View? The creatures from The View. Could we use them to chase the border back across the border?
I don't know, man.
Weaponize our ugly chicks?
I don't know that. I think that might go against the Geneva Convention at some point.
We do have a huge wave of swamp donkeys.
We do. We've got some serious Chelsea Clinton.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Who's the red-haired comedian who did the whole
Julia Griffin.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's picked the meat off the bone ugly.
She is. The bones are. I find her unattractive.
But that's actually a very good idea. Let's weaponize the swamp donkeys.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
And for those of you that don't know what a swamp donkey is, it's on a scale of 1 to 10. When you rate women and men, it's usually 1 through 10. The swamp donkey effect is when you got 3s, 4s, 5s, and about a half the 6s, all swarming the 8s, 9s, and 10s. And it's literally a wave of swamp donkeys. It's a never-ending wave of Wamalos and Brimelos and gravitationally challenged women who have the cankles, yankles, and shankles. Some of them have back tits and need to get sawed in half when they die with the chainsaw.
Swamp donkeys are so damn ugly that even the guy who's appointed to be the grenade jumper for the night won't go near it.
Yeah, he'll say no.
You not doing that one, man. Sorry.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty bad. All right,
Let's
Jimmy, keep going.
Jump back into the super chats here. Sing for Life coming in. What Biden is doing to America is treason.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, on many different levels. Got Sean Sommerfeld. What are you feeling up? You filling up Summers felt?
Everything.
Phrasing.
What they're doing is part of the Cloward Piven strategy to collapse society. Yep. We
Yes.
talked about that last week.
Yes.
Let's see. Singer for Life is asking, Jimmy, you streaming this Saturday? I think with the craziness that has been going on in January, we had Ben Shapiro be a part of the #1 rap song on iTunes,
I cannot.
featuring with Tom McDonald. I was laughing my ass off. Good song, but I was laughing my ass off because I know it was a troll song. Well, let's just say everyone's favorite fat trans destroyer of things, Gorlock, came out and said men need to start being men.
Oh my
God. I wish I was joking. So I might have to do a twit stream this week in Twitter.
All right.
I like that title. Let's see. Steve, you're gonna have to get it queued up.
Oh no.
Singing for Life.
What are we?
He's asking for Hillbilly Hillary.
Oh God.
My God.
Fucking hate this
Why
one.
would
Fuck you.
Why would you do that?
What an
to
ass.
somebody?
Oh.
It's just such a cruel thing to do.
Oh.
I hate this one. Look at that. Ah. Don't do it twice. Man. Come on, man.
Get rid of that. You, sir, are an asshole, but you're also a gentleman there. That's why we love you. No homo.
Yep.
Let's see. Sing for Life again. They burned down Hawaii. Yeah, remember that?
Yep.
So the elites could build a fallback position.
That doesn't strike me as a good fallback position. I think what they're doing is taking the land.
Yeah, the banks are still evicting people because they can't pay the taxes on the homes that no longer exist there. Insurance companies, their phone calls are going unanswered.
Correct.
People are starving and all that shit. But that was only what 5-6 months.
FEMA has included a clause where you can't get aid from FEMA unless you temporarily sign over control of your land to FEMA so that they can make sure everything is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, looks like last one here on MGTOW. Mountain Man 93.95, $10. My mom is German immigrant and went through a bunch of testing in the late 50s because of the Red Scare. That is true. Because they wanted to make sure she didn't have any East German sympathies.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Stasi infiltration was a real thing.
Yep. And well, let's just say the red infiltration. Well, it worked. Just not in the way that they wanted it to. Let's see. Jumping over to Odyssey here. We've got Ellie Carr with 3 in a row here. This first one. Guess what? I just put my 2 weeks notice in because of the bullshit and constant disrespect. I'm too old for that bullshit, so I quit that job and found a new one.
That's fair.
Good. I'm glad he found a new one.
All right. Second one. A friend of mine also quit his job because of the same shit. And the funny thing is, it's 24 hours of Valentine's Day. Nice. And of course, he's asking for something.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
which one? This one.
That's so disturbing.
You guys
Such a disturbing video.
You guys are glad that I have a good sense of humor. All right, because that shit is horrible.
That is horrible. And his second request, we'll play the short version of this one here.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
dude.
Never gets old.
Ugh.
Let's see. We've got a colonizer grind set. It's not, quote, immigration. It's an orchestrated invasion.
That's absolutely correct.
Absolutely
That is absolutely
correct.
We
Absolutely.
got a agent of social media chaos coming in. Good to see you there tonight over there, gentlemen. There needs to be a constitutional amendment banning foreigners from owning land in America. We also need one banning the government from sending money to foreign countries, giving all politicians term limits, repeal a few amendments, and add a few more I can't list because of letter limit on Odyssey.
I got you, bro. You're not wrong.
The foreign money going out, you can see all of it to the penny. It's on foreignassistance.gov.
Mhm.
Foreignassistance.gov. You can see
And
every
listen,
penny of your money going out.
if this devolves into a two-way rifle range and there's mass casualties on both sides, you will see a lot of this shit get fucking hammered out.
Oh, yeah.
I got a colonizer grind set coming back again. I clicked on the link. I can't share it, but he says, "Congrats, American," and he has the old school Oregon Trail. You have died of dysentery. Nice.
It could happen.
And we got Caleb on with 3 in a row here. Mr. Welsh had someone helping him on the Maitara to see stuff who was descended from one of those people and said he was told that the other tribes welcomed the Spanish and helped them.
Oh, this must be the
Maistara.
Yeah,
Regarding Pizarro
Bizarro. Yeah, Bizarro.
with the Inca?
Yeah.
Is this the timeline? Or because Cortez and Pizarro are at different times?
It might be mixed up.
At any rate, I know some of the Indians helped both Cortez and Pizarro.
Yes.
Yep. And his last one here. The military is like the Canadians. Worry when what they usually do stops.
Yeah.
And we'll check over on DLive, see if anybody's
You're
over
checking on
there.
that also an interesting Cortez thing. When the Indians first saw the Spaniards arriving and getting off of their ships on horses, they thought the Spaniards were some form of gods
Yep.
because they were detachable centaurs
And
Yep.
had beards.
and had beards.
Yep.
Let's see, no lemons over on Odyssey, but or DLive, but we got 16 over there. And how's Twitch looking tonight?
All
It'll load up. Come on. We got 8 over there.
All right.
right.
Let's see. I did see one Cash App here. I don't know where that one went though, but I see another one here. So you got a Jonathan, $10. Are deep underground military bases real?
You know what? People keep asking me about that, and I have to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff going on out there that yeah. See, he's probably under an NDA and can't say nothing. That's the constipated face he makes when there's a log jam in his thinking meat.
Oh, well, it's a log jam that comes with an orange jumpsuit. So
Yeah, and yeah.
let's just say that there are bunkers.
Yes. What
I
he's
would-
trying to say indirectly, because he can't, is shit is afoot. And if you shake the 8-ball, the answer you would get looks positive. that's about all we could go into.
I'll go that far.
All right.
You actually just made me my thinking meat pop off there, Bob.
You made the same faces when when you first moved in and I was vetting you and I was asking you all this stuff. You'd be like,
Not talking about no.
I used to laugh my ass off making you sweat like that. Wait a minute, you're like, he can't.
Nice.
Mostly this guy's a fucking dick.
Yep. But whenever shit is afoot, make sure you wipe your feet before you enter my domain.
Okay, next one.
There you go. Let's see. We'll finish up over here. We had a few more coming in over on YouTube. Got a donut guard with $5. Would you guys ever consider reaching out to Monkey Works? He's another ex-military YouTube guy who regularly monitors American military air
Oh, shit,
traffic.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, like send him an email or give us his contact information. We'll try to get him on the show or go on his show.
Yeah. Shoot over an email, redonkulas12@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Shoot over his contact info. See if we can get in touch with him. I ain't the herb coming in with $10. What non-Americans don't get is Americans can't just pack up and leave for a better place with instant citizenship and free benefits.
Yes.
This is it for us. Moving overseas costs money.
That and Americans get a case of the ass when pushed too far. So those of you here illegally might want to take that into consideration.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. Advad Dad is coming in $2.99. Play Hillary. I would grudge fuck. I will oblige.
You've been so bad.
God damn, I hate
No.
that woman.
No,
Okay, I'll take it off. I saw Steve over
yeah.
there. He was bent over in pain.
that hurt.
Okay. So
I
going to YouTube
would
chat says
That ass
yummy.
half a bottle of whiskey
God.
Yeah.
with Jeffrey Epstein stick.
Ugh.
Oh wow!
All right, is that all?
Alex Patino coming in. He says, just so you know, Hernan Cortez and Francisco Pizarro were cousins.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Did not know that. Thank you. That's a historical tidbit I will file.
There we go. All right, let me jump back through the chats here. Make sure got a couple over here on Rumble. Professor Blake Pooh Blaster 3000. Let's just say today at work, my friend wanted to ask out his assistant today.
What?
She is 23 as he is going to ask her. I was like, no, because she is messing around with a manager. Don't mess it up at all.
Yeah, listen, man.
Do not shit where you eat.
That's right.
Don't dip your pen in the company ink.
Yeah, that's not going to end well for anyone.
Yep. And I got a MX Stilgar. Said it right that time. Coming in on 1/1/24, 388 immigrant families were living in Massachusetts hotels that are being used as shelter. As of 1/24/24, that number is more than 1,400.
Yep. Hey, they want their sanctuary city, so sanctuarize.
Yep. And it's not like, kids are getting kicked out of school and they're going to going back to the Zoom meetings so that, they can house the illegal or invader Zims, calling them invader Zims, to house them in the gymnasium.
This cannot continue much longer.
Nope.
It won't continue
Nope.
much longer.
It's going to come to a head.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
will.
Net guy 1975. Well, you might as well follow it up with a blue dildo AOC.
Wow.
Yeah, we're just
There's
hitting all the
lot of
classics tonight.
What did we do to you tonight to
Oh.
inspire so much hatred?
They love to watch me squirm because I don't
that
have
it?
any filter.
Yep. So you got a digital dude coming in. Hey dudes, I'm in the hospital again. My blood pressure was low today. Low as in 40 BPM pulse and blood pressure 50/70
Oh,
or so. Fluid buildup again from doctor telling me to hold diuretics. There you go. For kidney health. Getting
Yeah.
old sucks. Damn, bro.
I hear you. I hear the blood pressure thing is terrible, but a pulse of 40,
That's
you
low.
get that well from being an athlete.
Mhm.
I had a very low pulse when I was young, but the rest of all of those pieces together, that's bad, dude. We
Yep.
wish you the very best. We hope you recover, man.
Well, that's still
Yes,
one of the
yes,
side
please get better.
effects I have from being a professional fighter for a decade. Is when I go to the hospital, my pulse will drop into the 51s, and people,
That's-
everyone freaks out.
Right.
And I'll be like, I'm fine.
Yep.
That's
Oh
just
boy.
And I'm not even in shape now.
right. Exactly. I used to
Yep.
swim a lot too.
Yeah.
Swimming does it.
All righty. That looks like that is all on our Rumble. Let's see, jump over to MGTOW chat again. And again, it's just, I'm telling you guys, MGTOW.tv, when it works, and it's the best.
Mm.
And Homer pouring bleach on his eyes for the Hillary. Of course, that's nice set. Yeah, I'd give her a 4. Let's see. Before I get too distracted here, let's see. That is all the chats on MGTOW. Odyssey is all caught up. Anyone send some lemons on D Live? No lemons on D Live.
All right.
And it looks like no other cash apps have come in. So I believe we are done for the night, gentlemen.
All right. It's safety briefing time.
Safety briefing, Pop.
All right, everybody. It's your favorite first sergeant here, and you're going to get the safety briefing I used to give all my soldiers. Now, please do not go out there and drink and drive or drink and swim. Both of them usually end badly, and I don't want to do the paperwork or have to give you your taps in 21, so don't fucking do that. If you must fight, do everything in your power to run away and never go to the ground, because that's where you get stomped out. And then I'll have to do yet more paperwork and have to deal with a bunch of bullshit. And I'll have to pony up a bunch of dudes to go downtown and fuck some people up, which is never a good thing. All right. Now, rack up, pack up, stack up, maintain your situational awareness, because if somebody is going to attack you, something in your environment will be different. It's up to you to see that so you don't die. And please do not make permanent decisions over temporary problems, because that also never ends well. And more than likely, you're going to get racked up, packed up, and stacked up, put in the next snot rocket vagina tube to come down here and do this motherfucking place again. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not doing it again. I'm good. All right.
Once is enough. All righty. Battle Dwarf. Any final parting words from you, good sir?
Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern
Negative.
is full.
Pattern is full. Alrighty, gents. We will catch you on Thursday night, and I have a feeling it's going to be a good show.
All righty.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.